Imagine if you go to sleep now and awaken in a world that nature has recovered 1,000 years later. How would the world appear? Would people live? How would society change? The physics of suspended animation, how Earth changes while you're away, and the difficult obstacles of coming back will all be covered in this movie. Prepare yourself for an adventure that will take you from underground bunkers to lush forests and a complete rediscovery of civilization. 1. Cryosleep and suspended animation. How could we sleep for 1,000 years? Though certain experimental advances suggest that it may be possible, modern science is still a long way from enabling individuals to sleep for millennia. As part of emergency preservation and resuscitation, EPR, medical teams have temporarily chilled trauma patients to between 10 and 15 degrees Celsius to purchase time for surgery. With careful rewarming procedures, this technique may keep patients alive in a suspended condition for up to 2 hours. By simulating ground squirrels or other animals that substantially lower their heart rate and respiration during torpor, biologists are also examining metabolic slowing. In mice, medications such as hydrogen sulfide, ARH2S, have been shown to produce reversible states that reduce metabolism without the need for cold exposure and have potential applications in human medicine. The development of torpor systems by NASA and SpaceWorks might allow humans to survive long-duration missions by lowering their body temperature to around 32 degrees Celsius and lowering their metabolic rate by up to 70%. This also suggests the possibility of long-term hibernation in the future. What are the current limitations? No person has ever been suspended for days, much less centuries. Unresolved challenges include immunological suppression, brain damage from reperfusion injury, cumulative molecular degradation, and atrophy of the muscles and bones. 2. The first days to years on Earth without humans. As soon as we go to sleep, society starts to deteriorate. In a matter of days, towns lose energy, power plants shut down, and neon lights in locations like Times Square in Las Vegas flicker out as their fuel runs out or unattended automatic power turns off. Waste, such as plastic cups and industrial leftovers, starts to break down gradually in the absence of people. But a lot of it is still ingrained in ecosystems. When domestic animals can't find food, they either become wild or die out. Many pets who are carried inside bunkers perish without any care, but others may live for a time. Wildlife recovers after a few years. Rodents and raccoons wander about houses. Microorganisms and insects thrive without the use of pesticides. As weather-induced roof deterioration and decay set in, the urban environment quickly changes. 3. Nature takes over, decades to centuries. As seen by actual abandoned settlements like Hutuan in China, which are entirely reclaimed by nature in a millennium. Vines and ivy cover abandoned structures over a few decades. Levees and dams break down if they are not maintained. Cities along the coast, such as New York, Miami, New Orleans, and Amsterdam, would flood or turn into wetlands. Rising sea levels and erosion cause many city ruins to sink. Biodiversity is flourishing in the meanwhile. Megafauna populations recover in the absence of habitat destruction and hunting. Where people previously ruled, big herbivores and predators again roam. 4th, environmental legacy, climate, pollution, and ecosystem recovery. Climate change cannot be stopped, not even by 1,000 years of slumber. The repair of the natural carbon balance is slowed by atmospheric CO2 and ocean acidification that last for more than a millennium. The majority of plastic contamination, particularly microplastics, is persistent. Without microbial development to break it down, a lot of garbage remains as durable industrial fossil layers. Some waste sinks in ocean sediments or stays in soil. 5. Awakening, difficulties for people. 1,000 years later, humans awaken to a changed planet after spending generations underground. Although their surface bunkers preserved a microclimate, they must contend with an Earth covered in overgrown ruins and home to untamed megafauna. Civilization must be rebuilt, but it is difficult. Without infrastructure, survivors have to reconstruct communication, regain agriculture, fix water and electrical systems, and adjust to potential climate change. 6. Effects of extended on identity and psychology. A person who had been asleep for millennia would have severe psychological shock upon awakening. Identity and memory coherence would be questioned by temporal dislocation, which is a pause in ongoing conscious experience. Philosophers wonder how identity endures during such a lapse. They could experience an emotional loss of society, culture, and history. Their world is strange, with reclaimed landscapes and new creatures. Resilience and self-reflection would be necessary to overcome the difficulty of adjusting to or recovering from this new reality. 7. Is it possible for us to sleep for 1,000 years? A 1,000-year human slumber is realistically well beyond the realm of present research. Although corpses may be preserved via cryonics at very low temperatures, no one has been successfully resurrected so far. Unresolved issues include brain degradation, cell death, and ice crystal damage. Even promising leads, such as medicines that induce torpor or block the metabolism of hydrogen sulfide, are examined for minutes or hours rather than centuries. It is still science fiction to induce prolonged reversible hibernation without causing harm to organs. Nevertheless, the idea inspires advances in long-duration space exploration, trauma treatment, and our comprehension of aging. Though not anytime soon, each attempt advances the goal of extended stasis. Conclusion: if everyone slept for 1,000 years, the planet would evolve into a wild, reborn Earth, vast woodlands reclaiming cities, wildlife thriving, architecture crumbling, and coastal zones transformed by flooding and erosion. Urban zones would become forests, trees and vines would engulf pavements and buildings, while rivers reroute through abandoned streets like ancient forgotten waterways. Concrete, steel, and glass structures would collapse within centuries. Only massive stone monuments or heavily engineered dams might linger as relics of human civilization. Wildlife would flourish without human pressures. Insects would explode in numbers, sparking predator population booms across the food chain. Large mammals, bears, wolves, deer, would reclaim vast swaths of former cities and farmlands. Domesticated animals would struggle or go feral. Abandoned livestock would be preyed upon by native carnivores. Rebuilding civilization would demand collaboration, knowledge preservation, and innovation. Survivors would need to repair water and power systems, re-establish agriculture, and adapt to possibly altered climates. Science on artificial torpor, emergency hypothermia, and cryonics hints at human adaptability, although true 1,000-year sleep remains speculative. This thought experiment underscores humanity's delicate influence. Without maintenance, even our grandest cities vanish, while nature endures. Sleep may be fleeting, but change is inevitable, and survival depends on collective creativity and will. If you found this video insightful, please click like, share it with someone curious, and subscribe to explore more deep dives like this every week. Thanks for watching.